is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studio, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I am Rachel Cruz, best-selling author, Ramsey personality, and host of The Rachel Cruz Show, hosting today alongside, I like to always say real-life friends.
That's my official title when we're on together.
Christy Wright, best-selling author, host of The Christy Wright Show. Christy, it's good to be back with you.
Yeah, this is so fun. It was a big week last week for Business Boutique, and now back in the swing.
I know. How did it go? You guys had an event here in Nashville.
And live stream, thousands of women, and it's just amazing how every year we change up the speakers, change up the content, and every year it raises the bar. It's so fun and so exhausting and awesome.
All
it's
of
so
it.
Great.
Hey, how was Bianca and Jasmine? Because I know them personally, and they're amazing.
They're so fun. Do you know that was the first time they've ever spoken together?
Because they're twins.
They're
Those
twins.
of you that do not know them, but
yeah, Bianca Olthoff is a Bible teacher and pastor. Jasmine Starr is a social media expert. Both of them are very branded in their individual spaces. They are identical twins.
Yeah.
And even though they are identical twins, most people don't know that they're twins because they're so branded in their space and they have different last names. So in all the promotion for this event, we did not share that they were twins.
Oh, how fun.
So Thursday night, Bianca spoke and just brought a great word. She was so powerful. And then Friday morning, Jasmine Starr spoke. And then we did this fun reveal and did a panel with both of them talking about how you find your unique calling when you are constantly compared to someone else.
Ooh,
and so it was very cool.
That's great.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I want to be able to listen to that.
Yeah.
That's so great. All right, so we are taking your calls live at 888-825-5225. So give us a call. We're talking money. We're talking business. We're talking life. We're talking balance. We're talking parenting. Anything you want to chat about, America. Christy and I are here because they give this to us, which is just absolutely crazy.
They just keep letting us host together.
Absolutely crazy. Okay, before we dive into the calls, I do wanted to ask, because last time we were on together, we were talking about your planner.
Yep.
And different fun things launching. How has that been?
Yeah, it's so great. So the planner is awesome. I actually had someone asking about it last week. For people that don't know, our 2022 goal planner is out. And this is the 4th year that I've done this planner. But what makes this planner different than other calendars, which are great, is it's filled with content and worksheets and journal questions for reflection and a month in review. So there's a lot of personal growth tools and content woven into the calendar. And oh, by the way, that informs your calendar and your to-do list. So it's one of those things that we try to pull together all the best pieces of things we teach. We teach you to read books to grow as a person. We teach you to, do Bible studies to grow in your faith, to journal, to write your goals on paper. This is all of that. It's your goal tools. It's all that together. So, it's been fun. And people get so excited because it's really beautiful. I mean, it's a piece of art.
It is. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. So I feel like that's one of the fun things that we get to do is create these tools around what I think individually we're passionate about, but to help people, because it's like, we can talk all day on shows like this or our own podcasts, but to be able to live in and day out as you're living life, whether you have a planner next to you helping you with kids' schedules and your schedule and appointments and all of it, which just reminded me, by the way, I have a planner on my phone. Like I do it digitally. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I didn't take off an appointment, so I took 2 of my kids to the dentist today, and we didn't have a dentist appointment. I had not taken off, so I actually probably need your planner. Yeah. Honestly, not digital, because my digital planner is on my calendar not working. But one of the things I'm so excited about, the Rachel Cruz wallet has been out for a few years now. Yeah. We have just different colors, different variations of it, but it's all based around the cash envelope system.
Right.
Because that is something that we talk about here. Those of you that are new to the show and our money principles, one of the biggest ways to stay within your budget and honestly just control your spending and know what's going on is to use cash. Mm-hmm. And I know that's kind of now, even since COVID and all of that, it's kind of like it feels like a dying art in the world today. And so I do tell people, it doesn't have to be for every category, but if you, especially people just starting out budgeting, when you are just at the forefront of, hey, I'm for the first time actually saying I have X amount for groceries this month. That's the first time you've ever done that.
Yeah.
You know, to have anything visual to help you day in and day out. And cash really does that. I mean, it can be inconvenient at times,
Right.
but if you have a couple of categories in your budget to really help and say, hey, I'm going to just cash these out and use it. And so the wallet that I created helps with that. So we partnered with Join, who's an incredible organization out in India, and they rescue people from just trauma, devastating life stories, and really take them and give them a trade, show them a skill, and put them to work so they're able to earn money. So it's a beautiful, redeeming business that Join is. I mean, they just do an incredible job in India. And I'll say this too for people that have bought the wallets. The owner, I was talking to her a few weeks ago, and she just said and thanked us so much for partnering with them, because even during COVID, and India was hit so drastically hard during that time, and where everything shut down, they were still able to employ people and still keep people in business, which I think is just a beautiful, amazing element to all of this, which I just love. But the wallet, we released a new color this week, and so it's called Classic Brown.
I love it.
Classic Brown, but for the fall season. So if you have not checked that out, make sure to do that. You can do that over at RamseySolutions.com.
What are the colors? Remind me what the colors are that you have available now. I know this is getting added, but what are the other ones that you also have?
So we have a camel. So we have like I don't even know how, it's a lighter brown, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And then black. And
Okay.
then we had a metallic blush for a short period of time, and it sold out within I think it was 15 days.
Oh,
They were
really?
all gone. They were all gone because it was beautiful too.
So
It was beautiful
popular,
too.
yeah.
Yes, yeah. But I love these tools, whether it's a book that we have you guys, or a planner, or this wallet, whatever it is, to integrate into your life and help you. Because do you find that, do you have things in your life that just it help you stay on track with things that you want? Because goal setting and knowing where you're going, intentionality, is so important to winning, not just in money,
Yes.
but in so many aspects.
Well, it's one of the things that we teach here, but we also live out. We want to help you live the principles. So anything that we create from Ramsey Solutions, from any of our personalities, is going to be a tool that helps you work the plan. We don't just create stuff just to create it. It is specifically to help you get those results. And so that's what I love about it, because there's such a purpose and depth to any product. It's not just a product. It's not just cute, and it is beautiful, but it actually helps you work the plan.
Yep.
And so I love the purpose behind it.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. All right, well, Christy and I are, again, taking your calls here on the Ramsey Show, 888-825-5225. We're about to head into a break soon, Christy, but what else do you have going on that's exciting?
So one of the things that's really fun with the end of the year, and we've talked about this with goal setting, but I think people in this year with the pandemic last year, but even this year, people are just starting to rethink their lives. They're rethinking where they work.
Their jobs. Yes.
Yeah, that's what's it's so fun to think about. Ken Coleman's new book coming out in just a few weeks, From Paycheck to Purpose. Whether it's a career change, setting new goals, finally getting their money under control, people are rethinking, and I think you're going to see a lot of people make some positive changes because of that new awareness.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. So great. Well, again, 888-825-5225. Christy and I are here to answer your questions. We'll be back.
Stop paying your overpriced wireless provider and switch to Pure Talk. They use the same network as the larger providers for much less. For just $30 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data with no contract. The average family saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. Just go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, simply smarter wireless.
Welcome back, America. I am Rachel Cruz here with Christy Wright, taking your calls at 888-825-5225. All right, we're going to Jason in Chattanooga. Hey, Jason, welcome to the show.
How are you guys today?
Doing great.
Great. Thanks for taking my call. I have a two-part question for you guys. The first part of the question would be, my wife was terminated from an employer after 17 years with the company due to the vaccine mandate. And we are navigating through this new chapter in life, and I really just want to know what is a way that I can support her through this. Let me give you a little bit of background. She's been in corporate for 17 years, and she's going to transition to go into small business with me. So I know that's completely different from what she is used to. So I know there's a mourning process. I see her going through that now, and I thought, Christy, you might could help me with that part of it.
Yeah, well, I love how you first acknowledge that there's a mourning process, because it's different, and there's a lot more going on at her leaving this job of 17 years than just losing the paycheck or losing the day-to-day responsibilities, because there's this feeling of, was I just a unit of production? Was I just is that how after 17 years I'm going to be treated? And so, there's a lot of feelings attached to this transition, but also moving into the small business type of role is just going to be a different day-to-day, different responsibilities, different energy. Tell me a little bit more about what you do and what she's going to be doing.
Yeah, so I work at a insurance agency, a property and casualty insurance agency here in town, and the timing as far as me needing help to take it to the next level is really good timing from that standpoint. So I don't think any of this happened, just accidentally.
Right.
I really don't. I think the Lord was completely orchestrating all this. That doesn't take away the mourning process and all those feelings that go with that, but definitely it's good timing from that standpoint.
Okay. Well, here's what I would do. This is a very simple practice, and so many people don't do it. Okay. So don't underestimate it because it's simple. I would sit down with your wife, and when y'all are ready to talk about her role in the business and that type of thing, I would ask her, say, I want you to define what success looks like in this role for you. What are what tasks are you passionate about? What are you good at? What does a typical day look like? What gets you energized? What do you love doing? And let's just, in light of what you're doing, right? Like in the context of what she would be doing for you, write out that list. And then you separately write out a list of what success looks like for you. What is the help that you need? What are the problems you need solved? What are the gaps that you need filled? And see where this overlap falls between what she wants to do and what you need. Now, likely there's going to be some things that you need that she doesn't want to do, and you can figure out what to do with those. Does she do them anyway? Because we all have things we don't want to do.
Sure.
Or do you find someone else to do that part of it? But I think the biggest factor to set you guys up for success is simply defining success from the get-go. Success in her mind and success in your mind, and making sure that there's a connection point between those. It may not be 100% overlap. Maybe it's 80% overlap, and you figure out what to do with the other 20%. But so often you have an idea in your head and she has an idea in her head, and y'all both start running, and those are not the same idea. And that leads to conflict, miscommunication, and just overall frustration and more mistakes made. So I would just have her write out what this looks like, have you write out what it looks like, define success, and then just have some conversations around that. I think that's going to set you up from a really strong standpoint out of the gate.
Yeah, that's good. Jason, is the things that she was doing in her previous job going to be similar to kind of what she'll step in?
Well, not really.
Okay.
She was a senior manager at a company, very high up. And so I knew from the beginning that her identity, finding an identity that she's happy with, is going to be difficult, because this is so much different than a large company. So I've already given her some things to do, taking some IT stuff and running with it, and she has really enjoyed that. She's already played with that some. So I think just finding the identity is going to be a big deal.
This may be a real basic question, but does she want to do this? I know you need it, but does she want to do this for you?
I think she does.
Okay.
I think she would tell you that she does.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
That's huge. But I just heard you say she went from a senior manager role that she very much found a part of her identity in, which is fine, to being more of a support role for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a shift, not just in tasks, but in the role that you play. And so I think that if you're sensitive to that, that will be huge, especially in this transition process. But if she wants to do it, then she'll want to figure out how to make that make that modification.
How old is she, Jason?
She's 44.
44. Okay. So so she still has some years.
We've been married 20 years, and we've never dealt with anything like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thankfully, applying the principles you guys teach and Mr. Ramsey teaches, we're in good shape. The second thing I wanted to add real quick, if I can, we have a 401k that we have invested specifically the way Dave has said, growth stock mutual funds, long track record. We've done that for years, and it's done very, very well. What do we do with this thing now? Should we sit on it for a couple of months and let the smoke settle? What do you guys recommend?
The first thing I would say is to contact one of our SmartVestor pros, because they'll be able to tactically help you walk through tangibly all of these changes. But traditionally, I would say when you leave a company that you would want to roll your 401k into just a traditional IRA. If you guys can pay the taxes on it, you could even do a Roth IRA at that point. But again, a SmartVestor Pro can definitely walk through all those details. Okay. Yep, and that. Thanks, Jason. He brings up an interesting point, and I guess I've thought about this, but not just in depth, is that shift of people that are leaving their jobs, changing careers for whatever reason. It could be anything. But how much we do find and value, especially if you love your work and your job,
right.
Who you are in it. Right. And then there's that mourning, that takes place, especially if it's a decision that wasn't your own, or you felt backed in a corner that you had to leave. That is really real for a lot of people out there that are in transition.
Well, and I think we can swing to these extremes of we only find our identity in our work, and that's a dangerous place to be because your work can change. Just like even finding your identity in terms of relationships, if those relationships change, there's a danger in our only source of identity being falling there. But then we could swing to the other extreme of saying, well, I don't find my identity in anything that I do. It's like my identity is in Christ, and it's just that simple. And that sounds nice, but there's a very healthy, normal level of identifying with the work that you do every day. If you spend 40 plus hours a week of doing anything, you're going to find at least a part of your identity there. Yeah. And I think as long as you hold it with open hands and understand this is something that I do, it's not who I am.
Yes.
But because I do it so much, I do identify with that. I do pride myself on the work that I do. Or, you've been with this company 17 years, like that's a big part of who you are. Anytime you invest a lot of time in something, a job, a relationship, anything, it does become a part of you. And, and when that changes, if it does, there is a little bit of mourning. And so I think we have to figure out what that healthy balance in the middle looks like of, yes, we're going to find a little bit of our identity there. Like I identify as I'm a runner, it's like, I don't,
you identify as that. I do not.
And you don't really mourn the loss of that.
No, I don't. I quit marathon training 2 weeks in. I was like, heck no, this is stupid.
But there's a healthy amount of that. There's a healthy amount of holding with open hands and going, yeah, this is a part of who I am in a healthy, normal way.
Yes.
And at the same time, it's not only who I am. Yes. And so I think we need to just acknowledge that, because when you're going through a change or losing a part of yourself, give yourself some grace in that transition and that mourning, because that was a big piece of who you were. And it's okay if that changes, And
I think that there's not, there shouldn't be shame or embarrassment either to have those feelings.
No.
And I love that even Jason pointed that out about his wife, because I think sometimes we can be in the mindset of like, just, pull your bootstraps up and just charge. It's like, no, there's a big part of your life that is shifting and changing. And if that makes, that's hard and sad, then let it be, you know, for a little bit. So that's great. Awesome. Well, Christy and I, again, are happy to be here answering your questions, you all. So 888-825-5225, and we'll be back.
If you're ready to get out there and find a job you love, then you need to hear this. Job hunting can be stressful and time-consuming, but my friends at Ziprecruiter have made the whole job search way easier. Ziprecruiter is rated the #1 job site in the US by G2, and it's free. So how does it work? First, go to ziprecruiter.com/Ken. Then create a free profile and let their technology do the hard work by finding and sending you jobs that are a great fit. And get this, ZipRecruiter pitches your profile to companies whose jobs match your skills and experience. If someone from that company likes your profile, they can personally invite you to apply for the job. So if you're ready for an easier job search, check out ZipRecruiter. Sign up for free right now at ziprecruiter.com/Ken. That's ziprecruiter.com/Ken. Sign up today, absolutely free, and let ZipRecruiter work for you.
If you aren't strapped with student loan payments, you probably know someone who is. There are millions of people that are literally putting their lives on hold. They can't buy a house or have kids because they're just stuck, and they're waiting and waiting. And the worst part is they're waiting for the government to save them with student loan forgiveness. And it's a joke. Our team has produced a new documentary, you guys, and it's incredible. It's called Borrowed Future, and it is out now. It uncovers the dark side of the student loan industry and exposes how the system is built to work against you. And so you'll see Dave Ramsey weigh in on the epic failure, otherwise known as the student loan program, and has interviews with some of the industry insiders and thought leaders like Seth Godin, Seth Frontman, and Dr. John Deloney. And we're coming at this hard. Ramsey Solutions, really, we're taking a big swing at the student loan problem with the goal to lock arms with parents and students around the country with the truth that you do not have to take out loans to get a college degree. You can graduate debt-free and avoid the predatory student loan industry. So Borrowed Future is available now. You can watch it on Apple TV, Amazon Prime, Google Play, or go to borrowedfuture.com. Find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window covering. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promo codes they run every month, you'll save even more. Use promo code Ramsey to get the best deal. Rules and restrictions apply.
Today's question comes from Daisy in Tennessee. I work full-time and also have a side business that I've worked hard to build. It's grown to the point where it's becoming hard to manage my time, and I've not done a good job of serving my customers, which really bothers me. I've been praying about working on my business full-time and leaving my current job. How do I overcome the fear of leaving a great job and benefits? So I love this question because it's really common, and anyone listening right now that has a side business, maybe you have a side hustle, maybe you started it just to work on your debt snowball faster. And as you're doing it, you're thinking, wow, I really love this. It gives me joy. I'm passionate about it. What if I did this full time? What if I could quit my full-time job? Well, the thing that we tell people all the time is we don't want you to walk out on your steady paycheck tomorrow. I don't want you to have this Jerry Maguire moment where you grab the goldfish and say, who's with me? That's fun in the movies and not fun in real life. That's right. Nothing will make your dream a burden like having the money being the driving force where the money's not there. So here's what I want you to do for Daisy or anyone. Daisy, one of the things that you said in your question is that you've grown it to the point where you're spending a lot of time on it, but you didn't mention how much money you're making in it. And I'm not as interested in how much time you spend on it as I am how much money you're making, as long as that time converts to dollars you're bringing in. And so what we tell people to do is you need to build up your side business so much from a financial standpoint, the revenue, the personal income standpoint, that it can support you. Now, let's say, for example, that Daisy is working a full-time job and she makes $60,000 a year, and her side business, she's built it up to $30,000. Well, it's not the equivalent of her full-time job, but if she can make some cuts in her budget and her expenses and live on $30,000, then Daisy, you can quit tomorrow. because the money is there to support you. And the more that you work on your business, the more you could get that personal income up even to be 60,000 or more. But the money has to be there. So the way that the analogy Dave Ramsey uses is you want to pull the boat close enough to the dock that when you step in the boat, you don't fall in the water. And so the idea is like, how do I make the leap? How do I make the leap to full time? I don't want you to make a leap. I want you to make a step. When you take steps, you don't fall as much. It doesn't hurt as much. And so build up that business enough, Daisy, where that income from the business, you can live on it. And then when the money is there, then yeah, you'll still feel a little scared because it's new and different, but you at least have proof. Hey, I have the income to support me. I'm going to be okay. And, Rachel, we get calls like this on the Ramsey Show. I've noticed there's a pattern where sometimes people call in and they're like, I'm scared to pay off my last debt even though I have all the money in savings, or I'm scared to spend this money on this car even though I have the money.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's an irrational fear just because it feels risky or new or different. The numbers don't lie. If the numbers are there from a savings account standpoint, from, in your case, Daisy, from your business standpoint, you know that even though it's scary because it's different, the money is there to support you. And that's why we teach what we teach, so that the money can support you.
Yeah, the numbers don't have feelings.
Yeah, they don't.
They will show you and tell you, and sometimes we let that fear and those emotions get in the way.
Yeah,
so
and if the money's not there, you're not ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
Build the money up. Yeah.
All right, we're going to go to Mike in Lexington, Kentucky. Hey, Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey, can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's going on?
Hey, so question. My fiance and I are going to be getting married. We both currently own our house. We each own a house. But neither of us are really set on moving into one another. We see ourselves, buying a new house where we start our family and that kind of stuff. So my question to you all is it smart for us to keep one of our houses as an investment property? We both are debt-free besides our mortgages, and sell one house to help, put a down payment on the next one. Or is it dumb to have two mortgages? Neither of our homes are paid off yet. We both, again, are debt-free and, have good income, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's great. Great question. And I'll tell you, Mike, from always sitting in the seat that I'm in when I hear real estate questions, I have my husband and my dad in my head because they love real estate. They love passive income. This is like their bread and butter. They love it. So my answer, I'm telling you, comes from someone who is in a family and married to someone who loves real estate. But when it comes to investment properties and expanding past just that 15% of your income into retirement on baby step 4, we really want you to be in baby step 7 when you go to look at rental properties. And I know that's not the answer you wanted because you're like, we have stable income, we're good. I know you wanted me to just be like, yes, right. You can keep one. And I understand, even mathematically, you could look and say, yeah, I mean, it should work with the math, but what you have to remember is that life happens and the 2 mortgages. And if you don't have a tenant in the house, or if something breaks, I mean, it's just this level of risk at this point. And so you guys, you're in an amazing position. I mean, you guys don't have consumer debt. You both own homes, so even selling those in this market today, if that's what you're choosing to do, to go buy something else, you should have great equity. So, but my question would be, why not just live in one of them and sell the other?
Well, we've thought about that, certainly, but both of our houses are small, and if and when the time comes for kids and dogs and things like that, we have less than 1,000 square foot in our house.
Okay.
So we're just thinking, more down the road when that comes, kind of deal.
Absolutely. And I think that's wise. But I would encourage you guys at this point, especially since you're going to be newly married, to maybe just say, hey, for a year, we're going to just live in one of our homes and just kind of let the dust settle, get marriage worked out, get all this kind of in a more, quote unquote stable position because of a big life change like marriage. And then maybe it's, I don't know, fall of 2022, and you say, okay, we're ready for a bigger place. And then you choose to make that leap to something brand new versus just living in one of yours, just as an idea. Because you guys you don't have to have something bigger right this second. I mean, if you were expecting or something like that, I could see that. But even just being in one house just for a little bit, I don't think it's a bad plan at all.
Well, and one of the things that will give you, Mike, is it will just give you perspective of that first year of marriage. Because when you get married, I remember the first year of marriage with Matt, we learned so much about each other and how we lived and house responsibility. Like there's a big learning curve of merging your life with someone else. And what's so interesting is in a year, you guys may know more about what you want, what neighborhood you want to be in, what you want in a house. And once you've lived together, to talk about some of that stuff, you could guess now, but you'll really know after a year of living together. So it definitely can't hurt. And the other thing that I just would remind you, Mike, is a lot of times we'll have this question of, should I do this? And it's just because you're sort of inheriting a situation. If you would not set out to go buy a rental property, to become a landlord, your first year of marriage, then you're not going to keep that situation in which puts you in that situation. Sometimes we just want to keep it because we're already there. Well, if you wouldn't go do that today, then it's not the right thing.
Yep. So I'd live in one of the homes, sell the other one, and then here in about 9 to 12 months, look to sell that and move up in house if you guys want. Congratulations, Mike, too. Marriage is awesome. We're excited for you. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back, America. This is Rachel Cruz and Ramsey personality and best-selling author Christy Wright. You can give us a call at 888-825-5225, and we are answering your questions. All right, up next is John in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Hey, John, welcome to the show.
Hey, good afternoon, ladies. How are you?
Doing great. How can we help?
Hey, got a question for you. I was planning on going on a vacation this weekend and just had an emergency arise today that's going to probably take half of our emergency fund. And we're thankful we have that. But I don't know if I should cancel this vacation and, go back to stockpiling money to rebuild our emergency fund or worry about that when I get back.
Great question. Was your emergency fund more on the 6-month end of the spectrum or more like the 3-month before the emergency?
It was closer to 3. It was probably 3 to 4.
3 to 4. So it cuts it down to what? Probably a month and a half of savings?
Yeah, about that. We don't know for sure. I made a really bad judgment call and drove my tractor over top my septic tank and fell through it. So we have to get a new septic tank put in.
Oh, gosh. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No one's hurt. No, everything's good except the septic tank.
That sounds scary.
Except for the septic tank. Oh, man. And the vacation, tell me a little bit, because, it's this weekend. It's in like 48 hours, right?
Yeah, I'll be leaving early Saturday morning.
Okay. What does it entail? Is
it
all the family?
Cheap. Nope, it's just me. I'm going by myself. I plan to trip up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan just to go do some photography for 4 or 5 days.
Gotcha.
It's fairly cheap, $3 on the low end, $500 on the high end is how much I'd spend on the whole trip with gas and everything. So.
Yeah, and how much do you make a year, John?
Household income's about 85.
85. I always have Big Dave in my head sitting there.
I was like, you got 2 spenders giving you advice now, John.
Listen, John, honestly, again, if you were going to be spending $10,000 going somewhere super fancy and all of this, I would probably be like, let's pause. But $300 to $500 with your income, everything, I think you're fine going. I would focus in on when you get back, bumping that back up. But to build up that emergency fund, you can do that in 3 or 4 months, focusing all your efforts. I will say this though, John, it is a vacation. It's not a, I always feel the pressure that if it's a vacation that, you can't cancel because of a hotel policy, if there's family, if other people are involved in the plans, that's a harder one to just flat out cancel. Mm-hmm. This one is just you. So if you did want to press pause and go in 2 months, you could do that and probably be on the safe side. But because it's not a huge dollar amount and you still have around a month and a half, 2 month buffer there, I'm okay with it. And we tell people once you're debt free, like, yes, you want to build up that emergency fund fast, but that's when you're able to kind of celebrate and enjoy life a little bit more.
Yeah, I think for me, the dollar amount is what is the determining factor. Like, I don't know what Dave would say if he were here. If he were here, he might be like, no, don't go. But Dave's not here, John. Dave's not here. Me and Rachel are your friendly spenders, just giving you advice. No, I mean, seriously, it's negligible in the grand scheme of the emergency fund you already have and the income that you make. And it's in 2 days. Go take some pictures, enjoy your photography. I don't think it's a big deal. If you want to cancel it, you can. It's not a big deal either way. But I think if you want to go, you can start building that emergency fund right back up when you get back. The fact that you're even calling shows that you're cognizant. You're a saver. You're doing great. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think it's a big deal if you go.
And consult your wife. And if she's feeling uncomfortable, then I would add that in there too. Yes, but John, I think you're good again only because you have still some emergency fund. It's not a huge dollar amount, and your income is $85,000 a year.
Yeah,
I think you're gonna be okay.
It's not gonna make or break. This vacation is not gonna make or break your emergency fund.
That's right.
Or your ability to build it back up.
That's right. All right. Up next is T. Shaw in Wichita, Kansas. Hey, welcome to the show.
How are you, ladies?
Great. What's going on?
Good. Well, my husband and I are kind of in the middle of trying to make some decisions as far as what it is we want to do with our lives, as far as if we move and potential career changes if we decide that we want to go that route. And really, my question is, how do you go about discussing those decisions, full-time parents, full-time jobs, and then you get home, you're exhausted, and you're just kind of overwhelmed with everything coming at you in life because I feel like we've got it coming at all ends.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit more about your situation. What do you both currently do for work, and what are your kids' ages, and how many kids? Give us a little bit of a picture of what we're talking about here.
Okay, so I'm a financial spreads analyst for the bank, and my husband is a heavy equipment operator and foreman for a construction company. So both very solid, essential jobs when it comes to that. And our children the oldest is 3 years and the youngest is just 10 months. So they're very active, going to daycare full time. Of course, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I never thought I would say that. And there's just everything going on has made me just kind of want to go home and squeeze my kids and just not even worry about work the next morning. There's been a lot going on in the community, that just makes you feel like life is just way too short to be focused on a career.
Yeah. So Tisha, is your goal here to shift out of working to be that stay-at-home mom?
I would like to.
Yeah.
I would really like to do that. I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah. Are you guys on a budget?
Baby step 2.
You're on baby step 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're on baby step 2. We have about $85,000 in debt, and we bring, depending on my husband's job, annually, both of us household income is about $80,000 to $90,000 a year.
80 to 90 combined.
Yes.
Combined. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is, it's really a value system kind of conversation. Obviously the math, when you're looking just strictly at the money on the piece, the seat that I sit in, to get you guys out of debt the fastest and to get yourself in a stable position. You guys, if you really buckle down, you could be out of debt in 2.5 years if you really just cut everything. Or you could just map it out and say, okay, if I do quit and I stay home and this is cut by how much do you contribute to the 80 to 90,000?
Half.
Half of it. Okay. So it goes down to 45,000. And what does that look like? And so, for some people, it's worth it. Some people, it's like, yeah, we will, I'll figure out a way if I can make money from home. Because my number one desire is to be with my kids right now. And that's all I want. Some people say, you know what, I'm going to sacrifice that longing for just 48 more months, 24 more months, and do what I can to get this debt out of the way. But again, I think it's a values conversation between you and your husband and what you decide. But this debt is holding you back, and that's one of the reasons we talk so strongly about this, whether it's student loans or car loans. It's like this culture, you know, you're working to pay bills, and that sucks. You know, that's the miserable part of all of this.
Tisha, you said you're a financial analyst?
Yes.
Okay. I think that you can look for something else. I think that you can look for something else and work from home. There are a bazillion work from home jobs. You can be making more than you're making right now with your skill set. You also could start a business if you wanted to. If you'll stay on the line, I'll have Kelly send you a copy of my book, Business Boutique, because while that's a plan to start your business, it also might just give you your idea for what your business is. But I think you don't want to walk out tomorrow, like we said, but I do think you could start to look at something that could still get you out of debt, but help you be home a little bit more.
Absolutely. All right, I want to thank our producer, Ben Hill, and associate producer, Kelly Daniel, and you, Christy Wright, for co-hosting the show with me. So fun. This is The Ramsey Show.
Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studio, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I am best-selling author and Ramsey personality, Rachel Cruz, hosting today with my good friend, best-selling author and host of The Christy Wright Show, Christy Wright.
This is so fun. I love this.
Good to be back with you. We are hitting the phones this hour, you guys. We're talking about everything from, everything that involves your life, whether it's your money, it's your work, it's your kids, it's your schedule, it's your balance, anything, all of it. We are here to hang out and talk about it, which is just so fun. I love this show because I just love diving into people's lives for about 4 to 5 minutes, depending on how long we have with them, because everyone has a story. Yeah. Everyone has things going on in their life, and Christy and I are sitting here in the studio in Nashville, Tennessee, just here wanting to help direct and guide you on everything that, everything we know. I don't know.
Well, you know what's so funny though is this is so known as a money show. You know, it's been a money show for over 30 years, and people often think they're calling in with a money question, and it's rarely a money question. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's as simple as we're going to move this investment here, or we need to save this amount of money. Sometimes it is. A lot of times it's a deeper conversation, and we had some of that in the last hour. You guys call in. You know, we'll have here's the conversation. My spouse and I can't agree on this, that, or the other. And it's really a marriage question. It's a communication question. It's a relationship question. It's a boundaries question. And so we love to help you look at this through a different lens and peel away the layers of the issue below the issue and talk about it there. And oh, by the way, of course, that does have an effect in your money decisions and in your bank account. But that's the reason we like to let you guys know we're not just talking about money. Yep. If you have a question about something else, we're here for you. But often the money questions are actually a different type of question camped in that. So we're here to help you.
Absolutely. So again, 888-825-5225. Okay, we have Ruth in Seattle up next. Hey, Ruth, welcome to the show.
Hey, you two are amazing.
Thanks.
Thanks,
What's going on?
Ruth.
Okay, I'm pretty sure this is a money question.
All right, we're ready.
My question has to do with how exactly to calculate the emergency fund. I'm in baby step 3, and we'll probably make about $45K this year between Instacart Shopper and Uber Eats. And I'm trying to figure out, does the 3 month, I'm kind of on the fence about 3 or 6 months, but when it comes down to the numbers, is it 3? Let's go with the 3 months just for example. Is it 3 months of everything, including lifestyle, just any and all bills that you've got, or should I chisel down to say, the other day I kind of pretend you had a car accident and just figure out what you would be paying for and what you would cancel out for 3 months type thing. Which one would you go with?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ruth. You can go about this kind of both ways, honestly. I talked to some people and they want the 3 months emergency fund where their life doesn't change. That if they lose a job or a spouse loses a job or something happens, that they don't have to shift their lifestyle much, that they have 3 months that they can live consistently on as is. Now, other people, it is more of the bare bones. It's more like, hey, to not be late on bills, electricity, cell phone. It's more those 4 walls, making sure we're eating, where we get the mortgage paid or the rent paid. It's really the bare bones and calculating that. And so in that instance, you're cutting out things like out to eat. You're cutting out shopping. If you have a clothing, thing that you can do without that for a few months, like more of that bare bones. So it's kind of how quickly you want to get to it. And then to decide, okay, is it 3 or 6 months? So I would lean on the 3 month side. If someone is out there and they're single, if they have a pretty steady income, a job that's pretty predictable, you could probably live on a 3 month emergency fund. Now, if you have kids, a lot of dependents, if you're married, if you're on commission, if it's not really a very stable, situation, like you said, for yours, for instance, Instacart and Uber Eats, is that what you're saying you do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for that, that's a little bit more volatile in a sense. You're not just on a strict salary. So in your case, I would probably lean closer to a 6 month mark in that. But whichever one you take, and for you, because you're going to be on that 6 month, I would almost do a bare bones budget to say, okay, if I cut out all the fluff of my lifestyle and really have to stick to my bills, I would have that as your 6 month if I were you, Ruth. Are you married? Do you have kids?
No, it's just me.
Okay, awesome. So, yeah, I mean,
anyway, I hope.
Yeah, no, it's great. So if I were you, now that you're not, you could probably do closer to 4 months if you wanted. And again, it can be the bare bones budget, or you could say, I just want to be comfortable, and have that budget.
What? I want to get to the next goal.
Huh? What'd you say?
So it all depends on how fast I want to get to the next goal, basically.
Yeah, it is that, but I think that's the reason. The way that I've always looked at it, Ruth, and I don't know that anyone's ever told me this. I think I've just kind of looked at it this way. The reason we give that range is for that reason. We give a range of 3 to 6 months, and I've always looked at it as, if you're going the 3 month route, it's probably going to be a 3 month. You're not changing your lifestyle. If you're going the 6 month route, it's probably 6 months of bare bones, but the number could be defined either way. That's our 3 month if we don't change anything, or it's our 6 month of bare bones. If like in my case, having 3 little kids, I want a more full emergency fund for peace of mind because I have more people I'm responsible for. In your case, like if you're like, I feel good on 4 months of, middle of the ground, middle road, whatever, I think you're fine. I think we give you that range for some freedom and flexibility with your comfort level. Probably all of our savers and our nerds are going to have a 6 month, and all of our spenders like, I'm fine on 3 months. So there's a little bit of flexibility in there for you to adapt it for what's right for you.
Yeah, I think that is so true. That when Winston and I first got married and we were doing the baby steps, we did it, and it was like, okay, we had the emergency fund, and I had some money that I brought in. He had a little bit of savings. So we were kind of like, I was like, oh yeah, definitely 3 months bare bone.
Plenty.
Let's move on. And then once I had kids and we have a family, I went back. It's probably been 5 years now or so. But I was like, hey, let's like really beef up that emergency fund just so I know that that's in there if something happens. And that's the beautiful thing, you guys, about this. I mean, and Ruth, congrats on being on baby step 3. That means that she's gotten out of debt.
That's right.
And now you're moving on to that. And Ruth, I'm excited for you to hit that baby step 3, because there is this emotional piece that you get when you're like, okay, I don't owe anyone anything. We have money saved. So God forbid I lose a job, something shifts, another pandemic hits, like whatever happens, there is that safety net, and there is something to that peace of mind that is priceless.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why it's there. It's not just about the money. It's about the peace of mind.
Absolutely. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com.
I have the perfect gift for you and all the women on your shopping list for this holiday season. This gift actually makes budgeting look beautiful. I have had a best-selling camel color wallet and black color wallet of the Rachel Cruz wallets, and we are out now with a brand new color just in time for the holidays, and it's actually the most popular color according to the manufacturer that we work with, and that is classic brown. So this genuine leather classic brown wallet can literally go with anyone's style. It's timeless, which is my favorite. And the best part is that these wallets go beyond just the beautiful exterior that you see, but it really does. It helps you budget. It is handmade, authentic leather, so it smells wonderful.
Does. I'm unboxing one over here, and it is so beautiful. It's such quality leather, and like we were talking about earlier, this is the tool that helps you work the plan with your cash.
That's right.
You can see when your cash is getting low in your specific slot for whatever that thing is.
It's that full-blown envelope system right here, and all the debit card slots that you need. So last Christmas, we saw post after post of people saying that this was the perfect gift. They were buying it for all the women in their life, which is so fun. So it is available to order now, and will ship by early November. So you can get your Rachel Cruz wallet in our classic brown color by texting RC Brown to 33789. Again, that's RC Brown, 33789.
Even the box is beautiful. Like this is like, it's a perfect gift box.
Isn't it great?
The presentation is awesome. Yeah,
I appreciate that.
And just a reminder for people, shipping is just weird right now across the country.
Yes.
Like everyone is experiencing unpredictability, some delays in shipping. So if you want something from the Ramsey Solutions store for Christmas, get it now.
Yes.
Whether it's the wallet or a book or something else, get it now just to make sure you don't face any of those close calls in December.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to go to the phones with Christopher in Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, Christopher, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you guys for being here.
Absolutely. How can we help?
Hi, I guess my question would be, I'm 22 right now, making about a little bit over $85K.
Whoa.
I guess my question would be kind of what exactly, with being 22, some steps that I can take to make sure that I'm managing my money properly, with making this type of money, being this young.
Yeah, it's a great question,
Great
Christopher.
job, first of all.
Yeah, what do you do?
I'm a cloud engineer.
Great. So awesome. Oh man. Okay, 22 making 85,000. Do you have any debt?
Right now I have about 9K in student loan, but I still have about a semester left, so I'm debating about just go ahead and pay it off. And I have about 40K saved up.
Wow. That's awesome. Well, to answer your question, yes, I would pay off that student loan. I mean, that 9,000 for sure. I would pay that off and then cash flow that last semester of school, which is absolutely incredible. Well, I'll give you my top piece of advice, and then Christy, you can chime in. So at 22, I mean, you have so much going for you. The fact that obviously your income is amazing. You're going to be debt free by the end of today. If it were up to me, that you just write the check and you do it. But I think the biggest mistake people make, Christopher, that we see all the time is that they're just not intentional. And I know it's a really broad piece of advice, but people really do. They float through life. They make great money, just like you, and they just spend and go, and they look up at 40, 45, and they realize, oh gosh, I've tacked on some debt here. I don't really have a lot in retirement, and they feel themselves realizing, wow, I was not intentional with this money. And so if you really do kind of buckle down, live on a budget, which again, where you're at, a budget does not mean that it's going to limit your lifestyle. In fact, it's going to give you a lot of freedom to enjoy your lifestyle. And if you, I'll have you hang on the line when we get off the call here, because we'll give you a subscription to Ramsey Plus, because Every Dollar Plus is our budgeting app that helps with this and helps you budget and know exactly where every dollar is going. And there's something powerful about that. And then from there, being able to walk the baby steps. And again, with you pretty much are on baby step 4, 5, and 6 at this point, meaning that you'll be out of debt. You have a fully funded emergency fund, and you're going to be able to start investing into retirement, saving up for a house if you haven't bought a home and that's something you want to do in the near future. And really, I mean, you're going to walk this path so fast, Christopher, which is amazing. And to be able to just be extremely generous as well. And that's another piece of that puzzle I would put in. But all of that to say under the umbrella of just do things on purpose.
Yeah.
Be intentional. Don't just float through life with your money.
Yeah. The only thing that I would add, Christopher, just in consideration of the overall plan that Rachel just laid out for you, the one thing that's specific to you is your age. And so you are at such a young age and coming into a season of life where a lot of people experience a lot of transition. So I love how much money you have saved. I would just continue to add to that. In addition to, paying off the debt, like she said, and cash flow in college and starting investing and all that, just continue to stockpile cash, because if and when you're ready to buy a house, you've got a down payment. If you decide to get married, you've got some money for a wedding, a honeymoon, whatever. And so there's a lot of people experience a lot of very expensive life changes between 20 and 30 in a lot of cases. And so you're already on that track. Just maybe go above and beyond your 3 to 6 months expenses from a savings standpoint, because you may want to access that money for a house down payment, that type of thing. And you could start now, and then, gosh, you have that much more to put down when and if you're ready to do it. Yeah. But you're doing awesome.
Yeah. Christopher, can I ask you, what was your upbringing like? Did your parents talk to you about this stuff, or you just kind of happen to not have a ton of student loans but great income, or kind of what's your story?
It's kind of little difficult to explain. Came from, went ahead and got adopted at a young age, and got into a couple situations. Actually, have kids very young, and that's kind of what really made me kind of start focusing and so on.
Yeah.
And since then, I just know that I want to be ahead in life for them, and so on. And I guess just wanting to go back where I came from and starting an orphanage, opening something like that. And I know that I have to work hard from a young age to be able to do that. I guess that's really was my upbringing, just making sure that I can get ahead as young as possible and to be able to to do all these stuff that I have planned and making sure my kids have a good life ahead of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
I
And
love
you
that.
are.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just obviously calling in and being aware of the responsibility that you have, because that is one thing, you consider. We talk about money here a lot, and money, I always say, is a tool to create a life that you love. You want to take control of it, but it is a tool. It's not the end all be all. It's not the thing that's the number one goal that you're working towards. It's just cash and money. It is a tool to do life with. I mean, it is a tool to create a life that you want. It's a tool to be able to help people. And so making any kind of money, I mean, if you, what is it? If you have 2 cars and food in your refrigerator, you're like in the top 2% of the universe or something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so there's just a level of responsibility that we all have and that we carry to do this well, and not let the money ruin us from an emotional standpoint or a financial, where you go into so much debt and it's stressful, and you're working a job you hate to pay bills, all of that, but really seeing this as, okay, this is a responsibility. How do I do this well?
Yeah, and it was like you were just talking about being intentional. I mean, you already have been, Christopher, with having $40,000 in savings. That didn't just appear in your bank account.
That's right.
You have been intentional and worked really hard to get there. I think just following those baby steps and continuing that, you're going to be able to set yourself up to do those things you just described, for the legacy you want to leave, to be the type of person you want to be, to help the people that you want to help. And I think that's awesome. And when you have a deeper why, that is what fuels you way more than anything at the surface. And you do, Christopher. You do. Well done.
Absolutely. And to show that your past does not dictate your future. Your past choices, you can make decisions today to change.
Yeah.
Not just who you are, but even your money habits and what you're doing with this. So well done, Christopher. Very, very awesome. Well, this is the Ramsey Show again. We're taking your calls, America, 888-825-5225. Well, in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, we have Nick and Ashley, and you're on the stage for a reason. I know that, you guys. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Where are you guys from?
Minden, Nevada.
Okay, Nevada. Great. Okay, so you guys, you're here to do your debt-free scream. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how much debt did you guys pay off?
$36,183.
Awesome.
Counting the dollars. I love that. $36,000. And how long did it take you?
10 months.
10 months. Making what kind of money?
We started at 48,000 and got up to 104.
Whoa.
What?
Quite a jump there.
Tell us about that.
We both switched jobs, which was part of it. The first month was just on her income because I was in between switching jobs, and then with the job I went to, I got in a much better spot, and then she switched jobs as well.
Awesome. What do you guys do?
I'm a service writer for Hyundai.
Okay.
And then I work in a dental office.
Yes.
Awesome.
Amazing. Okay, and how long have you guys been married?
3 years.
3 years. Okay. So what happened 10 months ago that you said, oh, this 36,000 is just, we're feeling it?
We originally did this. It was a prerequisite by her father to go through financial peace before we got married.
Oh,
and
okay.
Then,
me too.
We went through that and we're like, oh, we don't have that much debt. And then a couple years into being married, we switched it up, and it was like, okay, it's time to do this.
Yes.
Well, and I think when he was switching jobs, we were going to go a month where it was just my income, and we looked at our budget and we were like, we're not going to make it. And that was a point for us where we're like, we don't have anything in savings. We don't have any extra money. I don't know how we're going to get groceries for this next month while we're just waiting on my income. So I think that was our low point, and we're like, we can't do this.
Yeah. So what was the 36,000?
It was cars, credit card, and then an old car loan that we didn't even have the car anymore.
So it's just kind of normal. So, I
Yeah.
mean, you are the classic, you kind of just are living paycheck to paycheck. If something happens, you're like, oh gosh, what do we do? We can't make it. So what was the conversation like then when you realized, okay, we are not going to be able to make it on just my income? We're starting to kind of freak out. We're starting to see the reality of this debt and the bills. Who came to who? How did that conversation happen?
She came to me. I am 110% the free spirit here. I have very expensive tastes in a lot of things, and she was like, "Hey, I want to get out of debt." And I was that one for a while. I was like, "We'll do it over time. Like, it's fine. It'll go away." And then it never went away. And it got to the point the month I was switching jobs, I'm like, "Wow, I don't want this anymore."
Yeah.
So.
Sometimes that freak out that you guys described is incredibly motivating to change. Like you almost need this freak out moment where you're scared enough to consider doing something different and doing something hard. I think it's funny that you said you were the resistant one, because I've noticed a consistent pattern that the resistant spouse is always the free spirit.
And that's nice, actually.
It's never the nerd that's like, I don't know if we should save money. It's like they're always the one that's on board. The free spirit's like, no, don't box me in. Rules.
It'll just go away. I love that saying. I love that you said that. I was like, oh yeah.
It'll just go away. It's so
exactly.
true.
And she just kept like sliding me brochures, and like conveniently I'd find our old financial peace packet. I'm like, okay, I get it.
I get it. Okay, so what did you guys do? I mean, obviously you switched jobs, so the income helped tremendously. But what else did your story look like through this?
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but COVID actually helped us because you don't want to go out and do anything. Well, with COVID, you can't go out and do anything, so it was one of those that helped. And I mean, just sacrifices all around. I mean,
and you picked up pizza delivering too for a while, and he was working 6 days a week, and that was like our new normal. Was I would barely see him, and then when I did see him, he was doing pizza runs and all that.
Yeah, I went up to my boss. It was like my second month. I was like, hey, I know I'm supposed to work Tuesday through Saturday, but I'm going to work Mondays too. And he's like, okay. So
amazing. Isn't that crazy? I'm like the two elements of people's money. It's your expenses, and when you cut that, whether it's the culture has cut it for you because of COVID and there's nothing to do and spend money on, and you raise that income, how drastic those two elements, if you can get those under control, how much you can see that progress.
Oh, it's huge.
So what would the key be? Someone listening right now and they're thinking, okay, these guys got out of $36,000 worth of debt. What would you say like the secret to getting out of debt is?
I heavily relied on my nerd. I'll 100% admit it, but no, I mean just be a team about it. Communication and everything is huge.
So what did marriage look like for you guys? Because I mean, this is a big struggle for people, money and getting on the same page. And I love that you're just so you just raise your hand and say, yeah, I'm the free spirit. I'm the one that pushed back against it. But what did those conversations look like at the beginning versus now?
A lot of them were, let's sit down and talk the budget, and I'd say maybe later. And eventually it got to I wanted to talk about the budget, but I mean it was a lot. There was the tough times. I mean, we used to go on road trips to go visit family, and we'd just listen to the show over and over, and it was driving. It was huge.
Yeah. It's amazing too, because you guys had to make those sacrifices, and now you get to experience the reward of it, not just financially, but even just, oh my gosh, we were a team. We didn't see each other a lot when we were working those jobs. And now it's like we get time together, and you can take your foot off the gas a little bit and enjoy the fruit of your hard work. I think it's so interesting when people sacrifice so much, they appreciate it that much more because you work so hard to get there.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Who were the biggest cheerleaders in your life during this time?
Like our parents a lot. Yeah.
Our friends didn't really understand. They're like, why can't you hang out?
They thought you were crazy. Is
what
it came down to. Yes. Oh, that's amazing, you guys. Well, you've done an absolute incredible job. So how does it feel? How does it feel standing there without any payments?
Surreal. I remember sitting in my car at like lunch breaks and listening to the show and being like so frustrated because I'm like, we're never going to get here. It's taking forever. Like we only have like $50 extra this month or whatever. And so it's so surreal being here and being able to be where we are now and not have that weight or anything.
Yeah, it's freedom. It is. And the beautiful thing that I love that you just said is I'm like, there is hope that it is possible. Because people right now are sitting in their cars thinking the exact same thing. And you just gave them that green light to say no, even though it's an up and down journey, right? It's not this like straight up. There's good days, there's bad days. But as you continue to be consistent in it, and you get the reward, and you guys did it. Congratulations.
Thank
We are
you.
Well done, y'all.
so
Yeah.
excited for you. Well, we're going to give you a copy of the Legacy Journey, because that is your next step, and the Total Money Makeover, so you can give to someone to pass on. But I'm so excited for you guys. Nick and Ashley from Carson City paid off $36,000 in 10 months, making $48,000 to $104,000. Let's hear a big debt-free scream.
3,
2,
2,
1.
1. We're debt free!
Amazing. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love their story, because I'm like, this is textbook. Like, this is exactly it. And I talk to so many women who are like, I can't, I can't get my husband on board. He's the free spirit,
Yes.
and then you're feeling this tension. You feel like it's not going to happen. And then you're working it, and it's like, oh, some weeks, or some months, we only had $50, and it feels like we're never going to get there. And they did.
I just love Ashley's persistence too, because there's a lot of people listening right now, and the spouse listening to this show is thinking, I want so bad for my spouse to get on board, whether it's the husband or wife or whatever. I want so bad for my spouse to get on board. But I just love Ashley's persistence, and it paid off. Like, you know your spouse better than anybody. You know the best way to go about it, how to have conversations, how to connect there on things that you guys disagree on. And this is one of those things that it's worth it to be persistent. It's worth it to keep on talking until you can guys can get on the same page, because you're not going to make progress until you're on the same page.
That's
and I
right.
love that they got there, and now they have this to show for it.
Yeah, and I feel like consistently too, people's income goes up.
Always,
Usually when we
yep.
do this call, they say, well, we started here, but we ended here with a
Right.
big jump, because something does unleash. When you have a goal that you're working towards, something as big as being debt free, you're looking at every avenue.
Right.
You're picking up. You're saying, I can work extra. I can do what I can,
Right.
and it just shows the beauty of, like, yeah, when you have put your mind to something, it can happen.
That's right.
I love it. So great. Well, again, congratulations, Nick and Ashley, for being debt free. So glad that they're here with us. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back, America. This is The Ramsey Show. I'm Rachel Cruz, hosting with Christy Wright, and we are here to answer your questions. All right, we're going to go over to Ian in Baltimore. Hey, Ian, welcome to the show.
Hey, Rachel and Christy. Aloha. So I have a huge dilemma to face. My wife and I, we're currently on baby step 3B. We have our 360 emergency fund, and we have 2 kids under 3. Our huge dilemma is, should we travel nurse as a family to either Guam or move back home to where I'm from in Hawaii? And that's just part A, because part B is it even worth it financially to do it right now with the times with, travel nursing being a hot commodity? Is it financially smart for us to move as a family? So.
Oh,
please.
man.
This is such a small question, Ian. I mean, this is just a tiny little
just
question.
Make the decision, Ian. It's not that big
No
of a
big
deal.
Nothing really on the line here. I don't know.
Okay, so Ian, how much extra would you guys make? Because you would do this strictly out of a financial reason, not because you just long to travel, travel as a nurse with your family.
Well, my wife is the nurse actually.
Okay.
So I mean, we have enough money to where we can use it up, but we want to buy a house. But at the same time, we don't know where we want to end up, because we've been living a nomadic lifestyle, moving from Utah to Texas. Now we're in Maryland, but we kind of have that itch to move again, and we don't know where to settle. But to travel right now where the kids are still young, they're not in school, and we want to live the life, like kind of like what you're doing, going to Disneyland on a random weekend. Yeah. So, but we want to have that kind of lifestyle for our kids. But at the same time, we want to, eventually settle down. But travel nursing has always been on top of my wife's list, and I want to make it possible for her. But I don't know, financially, for us, we're kind of crunching the numbers. It's going to cost us like $6,000 to fly to Guam, and then we've talked to several nursing agencies, but it's just, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to do.
I'm curious about the choices here. Did you say Guam or Hawaii, where someone's family
Hawaii.
is?
Yeah, I'm from Hawaii.
Okay.
So you'd be settled. If you went to
family
Hawaii,
there.
you'd probably be there for like that's kind of like planting roots. We're going to plant roots in Hawaii, probably.
I don't know. See, that's the thing. I moved to Hawaii because I moved out of Hawaii to have a better lifestyle, I guess, for more opportunities. I mean, I can't see my kids being raised there.
So why would you go to
So
Hawaii?
much opportunities. Because we want to be close to my parents, and my wife has never lived there. She's only visited it, but she's never lived there like I have.
Man, y'all are
She wants my kids
adventurous.
to have that experience.
Yeah, y'all are
Yeah,
adventurous.
but like I said, that nomadic lifestyle, I don't know. We're millennials. I just don't know what to do because we don't want to settle, but we want to travel. And so I don't know. And can you give us some, like, what would you do in your situation if you guys had 2 kids under 3, you had like an opportunity to travel, you have nothing, no ties?
Yeah.
Ian, can I tell you what I would do with 2 young kids in terms of traveling? Traveling is the last thing I would want to do with 2 children. So I'm having trouble relating because travel for me is zero fun with small children. Like, it's the most stressful activity I do with my kids. So I can't even sort of relate. But here's the good news for you that I will speak to. You called asking if it's a financial decision, and because y'all are debt free and because you're on baby step 3B and you're in a good position, you actually don't have to make this decision based on money. You're not asking about some massive expense because you'd be making more money. So I know that this is not maybe what you wanted to hear, but you can kind of do what you want to, which is why we tell people to get debt free in the first place, is so that you can do what you want to. So if you're the kind of people that travel excites you and a new place like Guam, I don't know what's going on in Guam. I don't know. Let's go move there and find out with our 2 small kids. If that is fun for you, I find that crazy, Ian, but I think you should do it. I think you should do what you want to do because you've earned the spot financially to be able to do what you want to do. Even if I don't get it or somebody else doesn't get it, it's your life, your kids, your family, your money, and you can. And that's the coolest place to be. So I think if you want to go, you go. Go to Guam, Ian. Go.
Amen, Sister Christy. I will.
I'm like nodding along. I'm like, I cannot relate.
And
I would never want to do
I
this
left my
with my
2-year-old with grandparents, so we wouldn't have to be on a plane with him. So
100.
me and Christy we don't get it. But for real, Ian, Christy's exactly right. It's what you guys want. I mean, literally, we had friends, they sold their house, put all their stuff in a storage unit because they had no debt. They saved up a ton of money over 3 years, and their goal was to travel for 6 months around the world with their kids.
Yeah.
And they did it. And they paid cash, and they did it. And that's what you can do. It's what you guys want. So, yes, understand and know that each of these scenarios, the Hawaii or the traveling nurse, maybe not to Guam, but somewhere else, it's always going to be available. So if you guys choose one and say, hey, we're going to move to Hawaii for a little bit, I would not buy a home in Hawaii if you're not going to be there more than 5 years. Just that's a little financial advice I'm going to give you. But yeah, maybe you go rent there for a year and your wife's like, perfect, I got the experience. Right. Now I'm done. And then maybe you say, all right, we're going to go back to the big land of North America. I guess Hawaii's in North America. Go back. Yeah. And, have a more predictable lifestyle in a sense that we're going to buy a home and settle down. Or maybe you leave Hawaii and you say, we want to go travel and be a nurse. And now you can. Like, these options there's not going to be closed doors, I don't think, for you guys coming up. Does that help, Ian, at all? Us just kind of talking through it?
Yes, it does. It's just like, like the living situation. We know, like, the market is so volatile right now. And it's just, I guess, financial. We're thinking, like, is it worth it to, pay for our flights here and there to live for that, contract that she's, whether if it's 6 weeks or 13 weeks. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with travel nursing, but, like, it's unpredictable. Nothing is guaranteed there. So you could have a contract that, it'll expire, and then, oh, you need to go find another one. So you will have to move, so just.
Right, but you make more, right? You make quite a bit more travel nursing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. I just want to remind you: you're not considering going to Guam for nursing. You can nurse right where you can have a nursing job right where you are. You're going for the experience. One of the things you said on this call that I think is so important to pay attention to is we have the itch. Mm-hmm. Rachel and I don't have that itch. Mm-hmm. We don't know that itch that you're talking about. But if you have it, that's why you're going. You're going for the experience of experiencing nursing somewhere else. Yes, you're going to make a good income that will offset the cost to get there, but you're not going because it's a financial move. If you think of it as a financial move, then it doesn't necessarily make sense. You're going because you want to have the experience of going somewhere you've never been. And you're perfectly able to do that. And that's totally fine. I think it just comes down to you figuring out what this looks like for you in your life. And it's okay if it looks different than someone else. It's okay if it doesn't look like your neighbors or what your parents did. That's what's really cool about the world we live in. You have put yourself in a position financially to look at that and say, where do we want to work? Where do we want to live? And maybe we're going to be nomads forever. And that's cool. You can do that.
Yep, absolutely. And I think that is the key part that I want people to hear about this is that they are in a place that they have no debt. They have a fully funded emergency fund, and they're saving up Baby Step 3B, which is for a down payment on a home. And again, Ian, I would not purchase a home unless you're going to be somewhere for 5 years or longer. So just keep that savings going if you want, but don't feel the pressure to put that down for a down payment on a house that you're only going to be somewhere for a year or two. But they have these choices. They have the freedom with options and choices of what they want to do. And that's the power of this, you guys. When you are intentional with your money and you don't owe anyone anything and you have a safety net of a savings account, like you get to make these decisions. Yeah, maybe our parents' generation thinks that we're crazy and, but I mean, like you can go travel. You can go live in Hawaii for a year or two, rent, and why not? I mean, if that's what you're choosing to do and that's what's fun for you guys, and as a family, that's something you guys value, there's nothing immoral about that. You can live that out.
Well, and that's what everything that we teach is about. It's not about the money. It's about the options it gives you. When you have money, you have power. When you have money, you have control. When you have money, you have options. You can move where you want to move, cover expenses you want to cover, do what's right for you. And so that is the purpose. It allows you that. And you've got that, Ian. You've done great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, as we close out this hour, I want to thank producer Ben Hill and associate producer Kelly Daniel, and you, Christy, for being on with me, and you, America, for listening. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free screen live on the show, make sure you visit theramseyshow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studio, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I am Rachel Cruz, best-selling author and Ramsey personality. Sitting beside me today on the show is Christy Wright, best-selling author, Ramsey personality, host of the Christy Wright Show, and real-life friend.
Yeah, real-life friend. We're taking your calls, working together, and getting to have a little fun in the process.
That's right. So you can give us a call at 888-825-5225. All right, we have Jeremiah in Roanoke. Hey, Jeremiah, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Rachel, Christy. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. Absolutely. How can we help?
Well, wanted to jump right into my question before give a 10-second plug. Thank you for everything you guys are doing, educating the nation on the student loan crisis and the alternates. By God's grace, I am actually in the dissertation phase of a doctorate and have been able to make it the entire way through without a penny of debt. So it is possible, and I appreciate you getting that word out there.
Can I ask you a question, Jeremiah? How did you do that? Because people think that's impossible.
You'd think it was impossible, but no, it's not. It was a combination of, there were some scholarships early on in my undergraduate. For my graduate degree for a master's, I found out that the school that my wife wanted to get a bachelor's in nursing in, if I had a job, any job there, she got free school and I got free school. So I worked security for the time I was there, and we got free school that way, and the rest have been cash flowing.
Amazing, Jeremiah.
Way to go.
Well done. Well done. All right. Thanks for letting me interview you for a second.
Yeah.
What's your question for us?
All right, so my wife and I, we are currently on baby steps 4 through 6. We have a home right now, but we're starting to outgrow it. So we paused and went back to 3B and have been just socking it away, saving up for a down payment from a building standpoint. Right now, we have about $125,000 in equity on our existing home. We've got about $40,000 above our emergency fund that is saved for the home we want to build. Looking to have about $100 cash on hand for the down payment for the build. It's going to take us probably another 12 to 18 months to get there. I'm getting a little anxious pausing this long on 4, 5, and 6. I feel like it's a wise plan, but I guess I just wanted to run the numbers by you, make sure y'all felt that was a good plan.
Jeremiah, how old are you?
I am 37.
You're 37. And so your question is pausing 4, 5, and 6 to continue to build on this baby step 3B is going to take you guys another probably, 6 months? Did you say 6 months a year?
About 12 to 18 months.
12 to 18 months.
Beyond where we're at right now.
And that will be 10 to 20% for your down payment for the build? Or is that more?
That should be 20%. That would be 20% for the build. And then once the build is completed and we sell our existing home, we would have, Lord willing, somewhere over $100,000 of equity that we would apply towards the principal on the new build.
Okay. Well, Jeremiah, I'll say this. You're fine. I understand that 12 months of pausing retirement is kind of freaky, and you're like, oh, gosh, but you're going to be able to make up for that so fast, not just with your age, but the fact that you guys already are going to have so much equity going into this home. You're going to get to baby steps 4, 5, and 6 really quickly. Maybe even baby step 6, you may be able to pay off this house, even the new build, I didn't even ask the numbers, but faster for sure than that 15-year mortgage. And that's going to give you more cash to go and invest other places, not just retirement. I mean, you guys can open up a mutual fund, you can invest in real estate. You guys you're going to be totally fine. I mean, if you're 65 with no savings, no retirement, this is a different conversation. But you guys are in a great spot, and I understand the feeling of still pausing retirement. Feels like, but as much cash as you can put towards and hit that 20%, you can avoid PMI. I mean, there's a lot of pros here in the short term, and in the long term, you're just not going to be that affected by it mathematically.
Yeah, and it comes down to what's right for you at the right time. This is right for you right now. You've decided this is a priority, and so it's just a temporary redirection of your funds and your focus, and then you're going to get right back on track.
All right, coming up next is Forrest in West Virginia. Hey, Forrest, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello, how can we help?
Yeah, so I have a question about it's about a debt situation. So me and my wife, I brought in about $58,000 worth of student loan debt into the marriage, and she brought in about $16,000. And I just got a job as a teacher, and she's an engineer, so it was looking pretty good as far as paying off the debt. But she's wanting to stay home with our son now. So I was wanting to know if there's any way that we can really make this possible anytime soon, or if it's just something we're going to have to power through.
How much are you guys making a year together? And then how much would you make if she stopped working?
About $100,000. Right, together we are.
Okay.
But if we stop working, it'd be about $35,000. Well, about $49,000 because I'm a youth pastor too, and they pay me a stipend. But
okay.
That'd be about how much we make.
Yep. Okay. Well, again, we took a call like this in the last hour, and for us, this is one of these questions that it's kind of a value system conversation to have, and we talked to a lot of people on the debt-free stage, and they say, the things we wanted in life, we paused, including staying at home because we wanted this debt knocked out, and the fastest way we could do that was with 2 incomes coming in and just knocking it out really quickly, and then and then having no debt, you have so many options beyond that. Some people say, no, this is something that I feel called to. Like I'm going to be home and figure out maybe a way to earn some extra money while home. And it's going to take us a longer debt-free process. But we just know the deeper you sacrifice lifestyle, the more income you're bringing in, the faster, obviously, mathematically, you're going to be getting out of debt.
What's the age of do you have one child, or how many kids do you have?
I have one. He's 15 months old.
15 months. Okay. Yeah, I agree. And I know that some of the things that go into that decision are the ages of kids, because some people think, oh, well, when my kids are in school, like I don't mind going back to work at all. I just want to be home in these, young years. And these are all things you guys should talk about. So it's kind of a more extreme example of where someone says, oh, should I cut out, all television, all cable, all everything to get out of debt, or am I going to keep my cell phone and maybe it takes me a little bit longer? So there's a range in there of how gazelle intense you guys want to get, and what other things that affect, like how old your son is, and whether or not you want to be home. You will get out of debt faster, obviously, with two incomes. The thing that I like to do for us, and this is something that you guys can have this conversation, is I don't like two bad options, like, oh, I'm going to work full time and not feel like I don't get to see my kids, or I'm going to be in debt forever. Is there a third or fourth or fifth option where she's working from home, or starting a side business, or doing a virtual assistant, where maybe there's a happy medium and you just look at other options to consider as you plan your next step?
That's great. Yep. Looking at all different options. Yeah. It doesn't have to be A or B.
Right.
There's other things out there for sure. That's a great question for us. Thanks for calling in. This is The Ramsey Show.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I am Rachel Cruz, and with me hosting today, Christy Wright, and we are taking your calls at 888-825-5225. All right, up next from Canada, Ontario, Yazette is with us. Hey, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Rachel, Christy, thanks for taking my call.
Sure. Absolutely. How can we help?
So my wife and I finally got married back in September, and we are expecting a child in February.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And
amazing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And so right now we've been saving up we have some money in savings, and we're driving a hoopty. We just have one car. And I kind of feel like it's coming to the end of its life. I got it check. It has a couple problems, check engine light, 300,000 kilometers. I've got it checked out. They weren't 100% able to tell me what was wrong with it, so I'm going to get a second check done on it. But essentially, I'm just wondering when would be a good time to move up in vehicle. We have about $12,000 saved up right now. But since we got married, I also took on some of her debt, so it went from baby step 3 back to 2. And we have about $35,000 in student loans debt there, and that's about it.
Okay. So when it comes to the car situation and considering where you guys are in the baby steps, I mean, obviously you're going to be paying cash for the next car.
Yeah.
And the baby comes in February, you said, you guys.
Yes.
So what do you think you could sell it for? Have you Kelly Blue Booked at all, the current car you have?
Yeah, I mean, with the the kind of work that it needs, no more than like $500 or $600 probably.
Okay. So it really is a hoopty, is what we say. So
it is a 2003 Honda Element.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, that's pretty good. It's lasted a good bit.
I like it. It has a really bad like vibrating problem right now at like highway speeds, as well as a transmission solenoid. I think it was like it's got a few problems.
Well, my rule of thumb always, again, with cars is this is something that gets you to point A to point B. And in this situation, you want something obviously reliable. But it is amazing to me how many $5,000-$6,000 cars are out there that are great cars that will last and are reliable and can get you through this. So I don't want you, when you do replace the car, obviously to buy anything crazy expensive. This again needs to get you to point A to point B. And so you're not going to be spending a ton. And I would take that $12,000. I mean, maybe take 5,000 of it. Go buy a Honda Civic. I always use Honda. I don't know why.
No, they go forever.
I do. I know. A Honda, Toyota, something that just goes and is predictable.
I like the Hondas.
Yes.
The Hondas are pretty good. Toyotas, they have longevity. I was looking at a CRV at around, hopefully, I don't know if $5,000 was a bit too much, but they seem like whenever I seem to find one, it just seems to sell like right away. So is it something I should maybe pull the trigger on if I see a good deal on, or just wait? I was hoping to get into a new car by the time the baby comes around.
Yeah, I mean, I would say at this point, I mean, if your car's worth $500 and you still have to do maintenance on all of it, I mean, it's inevitable. You're going to have to get a new car soon. Yeah. So if there is something, and again, you guys talk it out, see what you're comfortable with, and then I really want you guys to lay out the rest of this money because you're going to be able to knock out some of this $35,000 with your savings, keeping that $1,000 savings account. But I want you guys still focused on getting this out. I know, you're in a fun new season, you're newly married, baby on the way, all of it, but getting this $35,000, that needs to be the biggest priority. And so the car plays into it.
Yeah, we're on a budget. We have both read, it is Dave Ramsey's Complete Guide to Money. Which, we both found super helpful. My boss gifted it to me. So we're on a monthly budget.
Awesome.
I guess a side question is, when would be a good time to sort of, I know you guys say, to pause when we're expecting, or just emergencies in general. So when would be a good time to sort of take what we have saved up and just start tackling the debt again?
That's a great point. I totally forgot about that. I'm obviously in the third hour of the show. Yes. Yeah, you guys don't need to be, that's right. You need to be, saving. You're doing exactly right. And when the baby comes, you guys are home from the hospital, mom's good, baby's good. That's when you go and take the rest of that cash, and pay it off. You're exactly right. Pausing baby step 2 while you're expecting is what we recommend. So I would continue to do that.
Yeah, and you're in a good position to take about half of that, get you a better car that's going to give you peace of mind when the baby's here, and then keep saving between now and then take that and put everything other than $1,000 at that debt, and you'll just keep trekking.
That's right.
Great job.
All right, up next we have Tony in Fort Lauderdale. Hey, Tony, welcome to the show.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
What's going on?
Hey, well, it's really cool to be talking to both of you. I really like the podcast, and thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
To be brief, I would say that after I read this whole Money Makeover like 2 years ago, I've been trying to do the Dave Ramsey plan and continue on that route. But, obviously I've made mistakes down the road. But in the last couple months, me and my girlfriend that we had been dating and living together for 6 years, she decided to kind of leave, break up, whatever you want to call it. So we're going through a transition right now. So my two questions are, I don't know if you guys have any great advice or like any best places to recommend selling an engagement ring. So I bought one for like $5,400 like in 2019. I just haven't presented it just because, I just never really saw an opportunity. And then this came up, obviously.
Yeah.
And then the second question is like going through a transition, like, leaving your current home and then, starting a new rent by yourself. Is that a time to like stop the baby steps temporarily and like put a little bit more into savings to try to like discover your new bills?
Well, how are you doing, Tony? I mean, you broke up with a long-term girlfriend that you had a ring for a few years.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely really sad. But luckily, I've got a good group of friends and stuff, and, I don't necessarily know if there's something on her end that she's not telling me, like mental health or drugs that has to do with why she's parting. But so it's not like I've got any great answer for why we broke up. But mentally, I've read Codependent No More, and, so I'm trying to just stay positive.
Yep.
I'm sorry you're going through that.
Yeah, that's hard.
No,
as far as selling the ring, somewhere specific, there are, used jewelry stores. I mean, there are places that do that. I don't know if I know somewhere specific in Fort Lauderdale. I don't know if you do.
No, I think you just do a little bit of research. I mean, it's just going to take some asking around. You could literally go to jewelry stores. I mean, you could sell it yourself, like we say, private party with a car.
Right.
I mean, you can sell it yourself.
Yeah.
You could do that on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. I mean, do you have debt?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I have, I can list it out if you guys want.
Just how much?
Yeah,
What's the total.
Total is $12,700 on a personal loan, $9,400 on a car, and then another $4,000 on Amex.
Okay. The reason I asked is because that creates a little bit more urgency. If you didn't have debt, I'd be like, well, you can kind of hang on to this ring until you really find a good price for it that you feel good about selling it for. It's a little bit more urgent with this debt because you could take the money that you're going to get from it and put it on that debt. But I think as far as selling it, where to sell it, you literally treat it like as if you were going to make a big purchase, and you're going to ask around who can you get the most, where can you get the most money for it? Do a little bit of digging, whether that's private party through Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, whatever. If there's a jewelry site, like a consignment jewelry site, and asking some jewelry stores, just asking around a little bit, I think will tell you how to go about that one.
Yeah, and then I would not stop the baby steps, Tony. I mean, at this point, I would still continue on. Don't go purchase a home if you're moving out of your place. Rent for a little bit and start working on tackling this debt. But with money from that ring and everything, it should help you in it. So I'm sorry, Tony, you're going through that, but I appreciate your call. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at betheltech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's betheltech.net/Ken Coleman.
Welcome back, America. I am Rachel Cruz, and with me co-hosting today is Christy Wright. And we have some fun things kind of going on here at Ramsey Solutions, and some stuff because it's been a hard 18 months, 24 months.
Yeah.
For a lot of people.
Well, and the whole heart behind this show is to help you guys get control of your money. And the good news is this show is a great way for you to have that ongoing inspiration and encouragement, hear the stories of people, hear the advice that maybe you have a similar question. But the reality is we also have a lot of tools that help you put this into practice. And I know that the last year and a half has been really hard. I know a lot of you have experienced a ton of stress, a ton of worry, a ton of wondering what's going to happen next. And man, the unknown is just so overwhelming. It's just the fear of not knowing what's going to happen. You've probably felt that with your money. You felt tired, stuck, stretched too thin. We've all been there. But it doesn't have to be that way. You just need a plan, because a plan gives you the confidence that you need even when everything else seems out of control. And that plan that we have created, that is proven, that we have used to teach people to get out of debt and build wealth, is called Financial Peace University. This class will teach you everything you need to know to save money, pay off debt, and build wealth for the future. You can stream the lessons on your own, or you can get support by going through the class with other people. Then here's what you'll do. You'll put that plan into action with the premium version of our Every Dollar Budgeting app. It actually syncs your bank to your budget, and you can easily track your spending and see where your money goes. You get all this with a Ramsey Plus membership. This is why we talk about Ramsey Plus. It is our class that teaches you what to do with your money, and our budgeting tool that helps you put it into practice and live this out every single day. You don't have to stay exhausted and overwhelmed. You can win with money. To start your free trial of Ramsey Plus, text trial to 33789. That's trial to 33789. Give it a try for free. Practice this budgeting thing. Watch some of the lessons and watch how you instantly reduce the stress. You reduce the overwhelm because you have a plan, you have the tools, and you know what you need to do to get control of your money. That's trial to 33789, trial to 33789 to start your free trial of Ramsey Plus. Take the class and get the budgeting app.
Yep. And a lot of people that call in to do their debt-free scream, there's something that has helped them. Listening to the show helps. A lot of them say Financial Peace University and getting more content and more knowledge on how to apply it. Talking with friends and having community around you. I mean, there's so many aspects to this journey, and Ramsey Plus gives you so many of those tools right there. So it's such a helpful thing. And again, Financial Peace University, it's our flagship program that has helped literally millions of people get educated. Like it's mind-boggling to me. I've done this, I've been in this for 12 years now, but still I'm like, you can graduate from college and you don't have a class. You haven't gone through a class necessarily on the basics of budgeting and insurance and emergency funds and the difference between money market accounts and mutual funds, like the basics of personal finance. The class that you need, it is Financial Peace University. You don't always get it in an educational setting, even though we have Foundations in Personal Finance, our curriculum in high schools all over America. But man, this is like the class that everyone needs. It really is.
And the reason we put everything that we do into plan format is because when you can see it, you can do it. So we don't just give you a bunch of scattered information, a bunch of disconnected pieces of the puzzle. We actually show you step by step. And you will find that in any book that we write, any book that we publish, any product that we create, any course that we create, it's in a plan format. It is going to be a step-by-step plan so that you know what steps to take, because truly when you can see it, you can do it.
All right, up next is Bob in West Palm Beach, Florida. Hey, Bob, welcome to the show.
Hey, Christy and Rachel, how are you doing?
We're doing great. How can we help?
Yeah, so I have one question. My question for you today is, I graduated as an engineer this past summer, and I am extremely passionate about fishing. So I've developed an idea for a fishing backpack that I want to try to manufacture, but it's pretty expensive, the whole process of manufacturing. You need to order a certain minimum of units. So I project more or less it would be around 10 to 15,000, which seems a lot to me. So I'm pretty hesitant on it because at the end of the day, I just don't know if it'll do well in the market.
Okay.
So
you're cutting out a little bit, Bob. What are you manufacturing? I missed the actual thing you're manufacturing.
Yeah, a fishing backpack.
A fishing backpack.
Yeah.
Okay. So sorry, I've got some follow-up here really quickly. When you talk about there's a minimum order, typically there's a minimum order for a price break, but you could order small batch orders. It's just going to be much more expensive per unit. Is that the case in your situation, or you're saying they will not manufacture it for less than whatever this minimum is you're saying?
Yeah, because it's a unique design. They don't want to go through the trouble, I guess, to manufacture a small amount. They said that the minimum for them would be 500, and I've contacted a few others, and more or less that is the minimum amount.
Okay.
Do you have any past experience, Bob, with selling this type of backpack? Like, do you have any track record of it?
No past experience whatsoever.
Yeah.
Do you have anyone to sell it to, Bob? Do you have an audience? Do you have a blog? Do you have a fishing community that you hang out with, that you have qualified people that would want this backpack?
I do not.
All right. These are some red flags for me, Bob. If you had an audience, like let's say that you had a podcast, you had a blog, you had a fishing community, you teach fishing classes, some people that would be interested in this product, then I would say you could put the money into it if you have it. Okay, we're only going to cash flow this. I don't want you to take out any debt. But you could even do it on pre-order. Like you could pre-sell these, take the payment, and then use some of that cash to fund it. Let's say that you pre-sell them, for 2 months, and you at least get a good chunk of cash, and then those release, on whatever date you deem that they're going to release. The fact that you don't have anyone to sell it to is the biggest concern to me, because it doesn't matter if you create the best product in the world if you don't have an audience, or write the best book in the world. If you don't have an audience, then no one's going to buy it. And so what I would encourage you to do that is more concerning to me than just the money, I would encourage you to work on the marketing of it, to work on building the audience, creating the demand around it, getting yourself in these spaces to generate interest. And maybe for you, it looks like you're going to create an ebook, a download, something to start building an email list of people that are interested in fishing, that are interested in this thing that you're going to create a product around. But you just start to generate some demand and brand yourself as an expert in this space, or a person that provides content and solutions in this space. Then maybe in a year, I'm not saying you can't do it, but right now you're going to have 500 backpacks on your hand, and it's not because the idea is not awesome. It's just because you don't have people to sell it to. If you'll stay on the line, Bob, I would love to have Kelly send you a copy of my book, Business Boutique. I know it says A Woman's Guide for Making Money Doing What She Loves, but the business principles are proven whether you're a male or female. It doesn't really matter. But I talk about getting your market. I talk about marketing and building your market, building the demand for this thing. And so that would be a great resource for you to start to think about how you're going to get into the spaces where the people are that would want this thing, and then go create it. When you have people to sell it to, if you've got the cash, I think that you can sell 500 of these. I just think you need the people there in order to be able to do that.
Bob, I'm just curious, what do you do for a living? How did you get into creating and inventing this fishing backpack?
Yeah, so I'm an engineer by trade.
That's right, you said that.
It's very natural for me to just create stuff with my hands. And a follow-up question, when you're making a company like this and you're self-financing it, is there a percentage of your net worth that would be considered too risky to put into it? For example, I have $60,000 saved up over my lifetime. So would it be feasible, or would it be too risky for me to put like $5,000, $10,000 into this company or any other company that I might want to pursue?
No, you can. That's not too risky. You just need a proven business plan that you're going to be able to make it back, because just because you have it, it's easy to lose it. Because you're like, oh, I've got it. I still want you a business plan showing that you can make that back. Check out one more thing, Bob. I've never used it, but I heard of people that have startup labs. Startuplabs.com. It's where you can start to generate interest around your idea. Try that. I've heard someone else use that. I don't know anything about it, but that could be another resource for you.
That's great. This is The Ramsey Show. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. Deuteronomy 31:8. It's never too late to be what you might have been. George Eliot.
Rachel, you got some exciting news. You have a new color of your wallet.
Oh, yes.
And this is so fun.
So the Rachel Cruz wallet has, it's been a fun project for me to do and to finally have people actually buy and use because
it's a year. Have you had it out a year?
Yeah, a little over a year. Yep.
Yeah.
And it is. It's everything we talk about when it comes to, because I love talking about budgeting. I love talking about how living this plan doesn't mean you can't enjoy life or have a great life. That was always kind of my assumption. I feel like as a free spirit, as a spender, I'd hear the word budget and it was like, oh, well, that means you can't go shopping. You can't go on vacation. You can't have any fun. And I was like, God, people on budgets are terrible people. Like that is not a fun life. But really, truly living this out, especially after Winston and I got married and realizing, no, a budget really does give you this freedom. It gives you this peace of mind because you have a plan. You know what's going on. Never once are you, okay, I went to Target today. Here's a great example. And our neighborhood will do these like little boo baskets. I don't know if y'all have them. You've been booed. Have you heard of this?
No.
So you like do a basket with just some treats and stuff, and you like don't know who it's from, but you go to your front door and there's a little basket and it says you've been booed. So then you got to go.
Is this for Halloween or just
for
anytime?
Halloween? No, for Halloween. Okay. Yeah, around Halloween. So anyways, but I go to Target and I was like, okay, and I looked in our little miscellaneous category on every dollar and I was like, perfect. I know how much we have left. I mean, I'm not gonna spend all of that on this little boo basket, but I'm like, I can go down the Target aisle, and just have the girls pick out some stuff. And I'm like, that's great. I'm not sitting there being like, is this a waste of money? Is this still go? And you're second guessing everything. You can enjoy life, but you have a plan. And so the wallet has a built-in envelope system because when you're starting budgeting, if you are early on in this process, we recommend cashing out a few categories just to have cash because you end up not only spending less when you spend with cash, studies have proven that, but also it's just this built-in accountability. You know how much you have in each category, and it just gives you this extra sense of control. Well, people use paper envelopes and all of that, which is fine. But I was like, this can be cute. Like, this can be beautiful, and we can have a really great wallet. And us ladies out there who have a lot of stuff. And so I created the wallet, the Rachel Cruz wallet. And so there's there's tons of card holders for memberships or debit cards you have, and then these slots for your cash. And so we came out with the black and camel version that have colors that have sold tremendously well, and then came out with a metallic blush for just a limited time that sold out in like, I think 2 weeks, 14 days. And so we have launched this week the third color that will be where you can consistently buy. It's not for a limited time. But it's the classic brown.
Yeah.
So that is
perfect.
out and
perfect Christmas gift. And that's what's fun because we were just talking about this earlier, but there's all kinds of shipping weirdness going on in the country. And you can get your Christmas gifts early. I've done most of my Christmas shopping already because I was so scared of the shipping issues. And so I've just a couple days ago hit it in all the spots in the, that the kids can't find. But if you want to get this as a gift for someone that is a huge fan, someone that's on the Ramsey plan, this is a great gift. It's in the box. The presentation is beautiful. But that's true for anything in our store at RamseySolutions.com. If you want to get someone a book, if you want to get the goal planner, my 2022 goal planner is out. If you want to get them Ken's new book, all of these things are available to you in the Ramsey Solutions store. And I would just encourage you to shop early, especially for things that could sell out. My goal planner sells out every year. I don't know what the inventory is like on the wallets, but go ahead and get it. And you don't have to worry about shipping. You don't have to worry about stressing out about that. And you've got it for Christmas. It's a great gift.
And it's a good reminder. It's 10 weeks to Christmas, you guys.
Crazy.
Is that not nuts?
It's almost the end of October.
So plan this, you guys. Look at Christmas is always the holiday that we overspend. People go into deep debt for, and it is because we're not planning. So we're giving you lots of heads up on being able to plan for things, especially around the holidays. And yes, I turn on the news too, and all the shipping cargo that's just sitting there. I'm like, oh God, I got stressed just seeing the picture. I was like, oh my gosh. So it's crazy. All right. Up next is Josh from Indianapolis. Hey, Josh, welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm so excited to talk to you two.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
How can we help?
Well, I'm getting married this weekend.
Congratulations.
Oh, wow.
Yay, thanks. And we are also moving in 2 months. So we are unsure of what our emergency fund should look like or what our moving costs. We have a mover already kind of established, but we won't be employed when we get where we're going. So we're just kind of I don't know. I don't know where we should be.
Okay.
What's the story? I feel like there's more to this story. You're getting married. Why are you moving? Where are you moving to and why?
We're actually moving from New York to Indianapolis.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have a fully funded emergency fund. We don't have any debt. We're investing.
Awesome.
But a lot of that makes me nervous because we don't have jobs yet. But we both have skill sets that I think will get jobs quickly.
Sure. What's in Indianapolis, Josh? Just curious. Family?
Yes, family.
Okay. Cool. And if you're in New York, it's probably lesser expenses when it comes to the living. Yeah.
And it's politically oppressive.
Yeah, fair.
And there's this is a great time to get a job. I mean, everybody's hiring. So I'm not worried about you being able to get a job when you get there. And it sounds like y'all have put yourself in a really great position financially already with being debt-free and emergency fund.
I would say just be aware of it. I mean, even though I know you guys have the movers, it's in 2 months. So maybe if you haven't already, maybe you did price out a couple of movers and just be aware. And I would not at this point buy anything right now in Indianapolis, not because of the market or anything, just because of you guys are newly married. You're going to a new city. You've just coming off of living in New York, and it's like, okay, just take a breather. But this emergency fund.
She's never lived in Indianapolis, so I think that's what our plan was as well, is just kind of get a sense for the neighborhoods. But I should also mention I'm going to grad school starting in January too, but it's flexible, it's online, and but I'll be working. I'll be trying to work full time. So that kind of it just adds to the concern, like being married, moving, and a new lifestyle, or going back to studying and working too. So
it's a lot, and it seems like you're aware of it, and you'll plan for that. The other thing I would say is you can start looking for jobs now. I think if you had a job lined up by the time you got there in the next couple months, that would give you peace of mind. You're not starting from scratch when you get there. Start looking now. And it's very normal to do Zoom interviews, or they may fly you in for further interviews. We do that here as a company when we're recruiting people or talking to people from out of state. So you don't have to wait till you get there to start looking. That may relieve some of your stress of feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm moving and this and this and this. If you had a job lined up, or your wife did, that could just help alleviate that. But it sounds like you know what you're in for. I would just like Rachel said, reduce stress in the areas that you can. So not buying a house will reduce stress. Trying to line up a job starting now will reduce the stress. There are some variables in this that you can control to just not eliminate it, but reduce the stress of the whole situation.
Yeah. How old are you guys, Josh? I'm just curious.
31 and 32.
Okay. Have you guys been married before?
Nope.
No, okay. Because also getting married later in life, I mean, both have pros and cons, right? There's pros and cons of getting married young and later. But you guys do have two established lives that you're going to be coming in and kind of merging. And again, pros and cons to that. But I think that there's some great, there's a level of stability there because you guys kind of know who you are. You know, even on a logistical level, the careers you have, your passions, where you're going, all of that. So I think that gives you some kind of foundation there for sure.
Yeah, you're right, because there's a hard part of getting married later because you're kind of established.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a hey, I have my life, and when you're 21, you're like, I don't know, we'll just figure it out together, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's all of it. It's all of it. But the emergency fund, Josh, that's why we teach that, is for moments like this. Even though I know it's not a quote unquote emergency, but you have savings there lined up if you need it. Well, Christy, this was fun today.
This is great. I love it.
Love hanging out with you, and thank you guys out there for calling in and listening in. Hopefully this show helped you. I want to thank producer Ben Hill and associate producer Kelly Daniel. And again, you, America, thank you so much. This is The Ramsey Show.
This is James Childs, producer of The Ramsey Show. You can listen to all our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. Browse by topic or even send clips to your friends. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today.